Alright guys, Rimmer71 here. Welcome to my Shadow Sorcerer build guide. So the build guide is going to presume your position 1, which means you'll get the hag here. So our stat distribution is 8, 17, 14, 8, 16, 10. And yes, we are a sorcerer and we are pumping wisdom. We don't care about charisma. You'll understand that when we get into the build. So for cantrips, nothing offensive because our rolls are going to be rubbish, but we will never ever cast a cantrip. Not even Booming Blade really. So we take Blade Ward. You can extend spell Blade Ward and that gives you resistances for 4 turns. It's like a mini barbarian rage. It makes any sorcerer way tankier than they should be. And then we take utility cantrips, Mage Hand, Light and Minor Illusion. For spells, we take Shield for defense and Mage Armor. Subclass Shadow Magic. And we've seen our stat distribution. So let's level up now. Right, meta magic, twin spell and extend spell. So extend is really good for Blade Ward, and you can do it on haste later on as well, in a pinch. And twin spell is fundamental to the capstone of the build, which we will get into. So here we're going to take Enhanced Sleep. So this gives you really good mobility, and the build is going to function as a skirmisher. So cast that before every fight. Here we're going to take Quickened Spell, and at level 3 we're going to take Shadow Blade. Level 4 we take Sharpshooter. For our spells, we'll take Invisibility. Cantrip doesn't particularly matter. Right, and this is where we get into it. Let me show you what we're going to do. You're an archer, okay? The Shadow Sorcerer isn't a conventional sorcerer, it is an archer. You are going to play it as an archer for the entire game. And this is how it's going to work at level 4. So you cast Shadow Blade, right? Shadow Blade applies its advantage to every weapon attack. See, that's our crossbow. We've got advantage, even though we're firing it from our crossbow, but the Shadow Blade is giving us advantage. So as an archer, we generate our own advantage at level 4. So that means we can take Sharpshooter, and at level 4, we are a punishing archer. On top of that, where's my eyes in the dark? There we go. Oh, I can see it there. So this is how you play the game at level 4, right? You equip a bow. It literally doesn't matter, just any bow. So you start off as an elf, which gives you elven weapon training, which means you're proficient with bows and longbows. I've got Harold, that's our end game weapon. We'll get into that later. But for now, you just equip a bow. You cast Darkness on top of yourself. And you just shoot people. You've got Sharpshooter, you've got incredible accuracy. You're as good an archer at level 4 as anything else in the game. So forget about the fact that you're a sorcerer, you're an archer, okay? So that's what we do. You get the Boots of Speed if you need them and if they're free, and you don't always need to cast Darkness because you'll have permanent advantage from Shadow Blade, and you just play as a skirmisher archer. So you just shoot, dash, run away, go back in, play around your darkness. That's what we do at level 4. It's incredibly effective. It will clear out Act 1 on its own easily. Make no mistake about it. So next we go Sorcerer level 5 and we take haste. So any normal archer gets extra attack at level 5, but we get haste, and we will run haste on ourselves constantly. So we've got the boots of speed, we've got 2 attacks, we run, we shoot, we run, we shoot, we run, we shoot. That's our gameplay at level 5. Your concentration will never be challenged because you're going to play as a skirmisher. Just hit and run, hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. That's all you do. Level 6. Right, this is where the build becomes distinctive. So we take counter spell. And this is where it gets interesting. So at this level, we get Nimbus. Where is he? I don't know why he's not on my... Oh, there he is. Sorry, just lethargic. Right, so we get Nimbus. And this is how we play the game. Just create some sorcery points. We cast Twin Spell on Nimbus and ourself, right? And you just run round in tandem with Nimbus. You shoot for him. Shoot Astarion. Shoot with us. And Nimbus is going to frontline for you. So Nimbus can apply Ominous Bite, but he's got a fixed DC. So it's based on his wisdom, which is 12. So he's only got a +1 modifier. To enable it, we take these Gloves of Baneful Striking, which we get from the Crash, are about level 6. And we also equip the Graceful Cloth, puts us at 20 dex. The Amulet of Branding, which we'll use later. And then the any damage ring that's available. So this applies a -1d4 to all of their saves. Right, that's a lot. A -1d4 is a lot at level 6. So Nimbus is going to be landing his Umbral Tangle a lot. He's going to be landing his Omen a lot. Right, so let's see if we can show you on Astarion, look.
With haste.
So let's run up here. We shoot Astarion.
I want to have a word.
See, we've got advantage. Baneful Strike and Bane from Harold, which is we wouldn't have her at level 6, but then we're going to put an Omen on Astarion, right? So he has got an Omen of Cold. Let's look at his saving throw. There we go. So Ominous Bite had a DC of 14. Astarion rolled a 12, but he had a -3 from Bane and a -4 from Baneful Striking. So he has got Omen of Cold on him. So we end our turn. And then we harvest a sorcery point with a cold arrow. See? We've recovered our sorcery point. That is the gameplay. That is what the build does. You twin haste Nimbus. You enable him by debuffing enemy saving throws. And he enables you to collect sorcery points. And he pins enemies down with Umbral Entangle, which is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't affect allies. It's got a really respectable AoE. You have to trust me, guys. This gameplay loop is potent, really strong,
I can do
really good
better.
fun.
I must.
Right, level 7. We switch to Ranger. And we take Bounty Hunter. And we take Beast Tamer. Fighting style, archery. And spells, Hail of Thorns and Long Strider. Right, so we're level 8 now. This is the core gameplay. We're going to add Why is it not letting me equip that? Right. Okay, exit turn-based mode. We equip the Shadow Lantern. So we've got 2 summons, right? This is level 7 now in the Shadowlands. We get the Eversight Ring. We can see through darkness. We equip the Shadow Cloaked Ring for damage. And we equip the Hat of Storm Scion's power. We put Drakethroat Glaive Thunder on Harold. So Harold will do thunder damage. That means that we stack Arcane Acuity. And it also means that we can harvest sorcery points off every single omen. So there's no special arrows that do thunder damage. But because we apply it to our weapon, every time Nimbus applies his omen, it doesn't matter what it is, we can harvest it. So this is what the gameplay loop's going to look like, right? We'll create some sorcery points. We twin spell us and Nimbus, right? We debuff the enemy's saves. Nimbus runs in. He gets his omen off, right? He gets his entangle off. And then we either harvest our sorcery point or we fire an arrow of darkness on top of Nimbus. That's cover fire for Nimbus. That's what we defend him with, okay? And then this shadow can play in the darkness. So if you look at his abilities, Shadow Blend. When lightly or heavily obscured, this creature gains the ability to blend with shadows and become invisible. So the way we develop the battlefield and our gameplay loop is we attack enemies with arrows of darkness. We debuff their saves. Nimbus runs in.
Light, never quiet.
Wait for our turn back. So Nimbus runs in. He does his shadow entangle. He bites.
Shouldn't have wished.
We harvest the sorcery point with whatever elemental arrow is required. And then we fire another arrow of darkness as covering fire. And that's how we play the game. So the last aspect of the build, which really is the capstone, is twinned Hail of Thorns. And I'll show you what that does now. So we'll put him there. We'll move Nimbus out the way. We will create a sorcery point. So if we put the shadow next to Astarion and enter turn-based mode,
No time to rest.
twin spell, twin Hail of Thorns, right? Let me move the shadow in.
Wretched thing.
Why is he moving out? Okay, we'll put Nimbus there. We won't shoot him. I'll do it to show you, okay?
goes well that ends.
So we cast
No doubt. Could have.
one on Nimbus, or one on Astarion, one on Nimbus. They overlap, and the splash damage goes both ways. So let's put the shadow there.
Keep it together.
Right, look at this. So you do an AoE overlap, right? That does like a load of damage. Watch this. So that's not optimized there, but you'll see from the video later on that it can reach some incredible damage numbers. There's a bit of finesse to it. You'll whiff a few shots. You have to look for the opportunity. You have to know the right moment to unleash it. But that is the core gameplay loop, guys. Oh, lastly, I forgot. Boots of Stormy Clamour. The thunder damage that is going to be on Harold adds another -2 to enemy saves. And Hail of Thorns is a dex saving throw to half damage. So we want the arcane acuity and the save debuffing to ensure it always lands. And then the end game. Let me just level up a bit now. So, level 7 Sorcerer, level 9 we take Dimension Door. This allows us to rescue Nimbus. We can get him out of trouble. And then our last feat, Crossbow Expert. And then for spells here, we take Blink. So, this is the end of the game. Levels 11 and 12 don't mean too much. You equip Ballast Armor, right? Gives Pierce invulnerability. So because we've got Crossbow Expert, and because Nimbus and the Shadow do... Does Shadow do piercing or slashing? Slashing. But Nimbus does piercing damage. We play in melee with Nimbus. We inflict vulnerability to piercing. We fire our arrows and harvest our sorcery points point blank range. Nimbus's Entangle will stop enemies taking attacks of opportunity against us, and we just play this same core playstyle that we've played for the entire game, which is just run and gun. You harvest sorcery points, you give cover fire with darkness arrows, and entangle them with Nimbus, and then when the opportunity arises, you unleash the tactical shotgun. So level 11, you take Insect Plague, piercing damage. It's flavorful for the build, and we're happy to have that. And then level 12, we take Sorcerer, and we take Meta Magic, Distant Spell. Like, all this is flavor. You could actually take Swarm Keeper to level 3 to get the class feature there, and I think there'd be some cool damage interactions with the Swarm Keeper's Piercing Strike. But yeah, we'll just go with this because we want the highest possible sorcery point progression and the highest possible spell slot. So you can see we've got level 6 spell slots. So the one last thing that I've missed, the Deathstalker Mantle. If you get a kill and you go invisible, you can fire darkness arrows and they don't break invisibility. So you're a true shadow sorcerer, in and out of darkness, popping in and out of invisibility. You've got blink going, so you go ethereal. You can rescue Nimbus, get him out of a tight spot. Twin Taste on each other. Apply debuffs. Land your Omen. Apply your Entangle.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Cover in fire with a Darkness Arrow. Harvest a sorcery point. Yeah,
Clean
and
everything.
that's the build, guys. So up next, we're going to have a look at how it plays out in combat. So this is the end game for the Shadow Ranger Sorcerer. The build's finished. All we add from here is ballast armor and spell slots, but our end game gameplay loop is completely online. So we've hit level 8. We've got our second Ranger level, which gives us our capstone ability, which is Hail of Thorns. And we're going to showcase everything on the Malice fight and hopefully get to show you the full base flow, which is debuff their saves with Harold, the crossbow, and the Gloves of Baneful Striking. And that's going to enable Nimbus to land his Ominous Bite and his Entangles.
Where am I?
And then we're going to recover sorcery points from the Ominous Bite. And then if we get a kill, we can shoot darkness arrows from under cover of the Deathstalker mantle, and it won't break invisibility. And then we've got the Shadow, who can live in darkness and do some good damage for us. Just one other thing to mention, we stack Acuity with Harold and the Hat of Storm Signs power, and that helps us make sure enemies fail the dexterity saving throw, and that's why we took Wisdom, even though we're a sorcerer. So hopefully the dice are with us, and I get to showcase everything the build can do here. Like, even though it's only level 8 and we're in the Shadowlands, this is how you will play the end game. It'll carry you right through. The damage ceiling on Hail of Thorns optimized is 700 in one strike. It's about the strongest single attack in the game. Yeah, let's get into it.
At the ready.
So the baddest boy will open combat. Yeah, he's landed Omen of Acid there. So we get him out the way, and then we'll debuff everyone's saves and buff and stack Arcane Acuity for ourselves. So then we'll send Nimbus in, and he'll do his Umbral Tangle. Yeah, he's landed Shadow Cursed Vines on all of them there. So we've got a sorcery point to gather there. So we use an Arrow of Acid, and you'll see us go up to 4 sorcery points. So that's put us in Viz, right? And this is where we provide cover fire for Nimbus. So we're invis from the Deathstalker mantle, and if we fire an Arrow of Darkness, I'll tell you what, we'll do the invis first, the vulnerability. And then we'll do the Arrow of Darkness. I should have done the vulnerability first. Hopefully I get but yeah, this is cover fire for Nimbus. And we'll go in the darkness here, look. So that's a decent first turn for us, that is. Look at him. He is so bad. So let's get an Ominous Bite off. Omen of Thunder. Okay. Omen of Acid. Right. So he'll splinter off there and go back to darkness.
Still on my feet.
So, what have we got there? Omen of Thunder. Right. Let's get the baddest boy out of the way.
Come on, can't stay idle.
So we'll go here. We'll just do a normal attack to gather the sorcery point. And then we'll do the twinned Hail of Thorns. So we'll brace for damage. We've got 4 sorcery points from what we've gathered. Okay. Right, so twinned, level 4, upcast. 1. He's on 325. Take the crit. Right, he's on 159. So we did like 165 damage with that there. Let's have a look. Yeah, look, 56, 54, 54. That's the capstone. But yeah, you can push them damage numbers as well. So we've got an Omen of Acid to gather there too. We'll take that. Right, so if they save on it, we don't gather the sorcery point. That's something to bear in mind. So he's still in the Shadow Cursed Vines. Oh, I forgot to bring the Shadow in. I'll get him in now. Get him into the fight. Oh.
Wow, so much for peace.
Go in darkness there. Put the baddest boy in darkness.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
Yeah, he's in hell of a mess there. So see how our shadow goes invisible when he enters dimly lit areas? Yeah, so there's our little splinter dog. Yeah, and he's Shadow Cursed Finder. Right, his saves are debuffed. Let's see if we can get an Omen on him. Omen of Acid. I want to just pile damage into him. He's missed there, that's fine. We'll go here.
Dull moment.
Do right, what's... Right, she's crippled, isn't she? Oh, she's got an Omen of Acid. So we'll gather that sorcery point. Nice. And then we'll do Arrow of Undead Slaying, yeah? Yeah, it's nice, boys. Very respectable damage. Right, if I put the shadow here... Yeah, we'll just keep piling damage into him. He's got 1 turn of Shadow Cursed Vines left. So... he's going to be able to get stuck into us next turn, isn't he? Okay. We'll go in our Darkness Cloud here. I think it might expire actually, leaving us, yeah, it's leaving us a bit exposed. Oh, look at the little doggy. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Right, Malice is prone and he's landed the Shadow Cursed Vines. That is insane. Omen of Fire. Critical hit. Get him out the way.
Blood comes
Gather our sorcery point. Oh, I love it, boys. I love it. I really do. Set our darkness up, look. Oh, yes. Is he still alive? Okay. Flourish him. Lovely stuff. Yeah, that's the Ranger Sorcerer, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.